Okay, so thank you very much for joining this webinar based around Support Plus. My name is Chris Casingena, and I'll more formally introduce myself in a moment and just give you a little bit of background about what I do for Combined Knowledge. I firstly want to say thank you very much for attending. I know that the majority of you are more than likely have very busy work lives or very busy schedules, and it's always nice for you to jump in and catch up on a webinar, even if you find the time's fairly scarce. This is just a short webinar, so we've scheduled it for an hour, but I don't think I'll be retaining you for that entire time. But obviously we'll have a little bit of time for questions and answers at the end, just in case there's some content that I'm discussing that really sort of spikes your interest and you're interested in asking a few more questions about that. So just to come back to myself, I'm not actually a salesperson for Combined Knowledge. I'm actually the project manager for the Support Plus product. Not only that, I'm also the content author for quite a bit of the content that's been included in Support Plus. The reason that I'm a content author for this product is that I'm a SharePoint professional and I work as a trainer for Combined Knowledge. So as a technical specialist for SharePoint, it's probably a very good idea that I be one of the people who submit content to the Support Plus product. A lot of people create very generic support solutions and try and keep it very sort of generally focused on quite a lot of areas and different applications. Because we're SharePoint specialists, we know this product inside and out, and we're very well scoped for delivering you a full solution on how to use SharePoint from an end user perspective. So that's a little bit about myself. You can find out a little bit more about me on the Combined Knowledge website. If you search for Combined Knowledge, you'll see a speaker list or a trainer list, and you can read a little bit more about my profile there. What I'm here to do today is to talk about the Support Plus product to you, and I'm just going to start off with a few useful links that you might want to keep hold of. In the chat window, I'm just going to post a link to the Support Plus trial. Rather than keeping you waiting and showing you this link right at the end, I actually thought it would be a better idea to just give you a quick hyperlink to this right at the start. I'll also put it up on the screen for you there using Notepad. I know I'm using a bit of an old school tool there, but you know, you can't fault these basic apps. So that is the website for accessing the Support Plus training product. Now, let me just explain what Support Plus is. Support Plus was basically an idea thought of a few years ago by a few specialist members of our SharePoint community within Combined Knowledge. And what they discovered is that there's areas that, businesses that we can't effectively train, these businesses that are basically quite large or have a very restricted budget, they often find that although they might be able to train some or very few of their users, when SharePoint's rolled out, it's all of the business that's going to be the focus point of this product. If the end users can't use the product, the focus point is that it doesn't get very well adopted. So what we wanted was an end user adoption solution to get people invested in SharePoint. And the best thing to do was to provide a just-in-time support solution so that if someone was confronted by SharePoint and someone says to them, could you just upload the documents from your computer to SharePoint? And they say, no one's ever shown me how to do this. Now, my role was not always trainer. My role was an IT support specialist, and I worked in a call center, and I have people calling me up for the most basic of things. The thing is, SharePoint is a multitude of different tasks all bundled into one piece of software. We train people for about 4 days just to understand how to use SharePoint. So you can imagine if you throw this product in front of someone, more than likely they're going to panic, see too many options and worry about what to do. What's the best practices? Should I even be doing this? I don't have the rights to do that. So what we do is we create a very simple to use support solutions that anyone can find any topic that they need support with just in time so that they can help themselves. The calls don't come through to the IT department and bog them down with additional work. The calls don't actually turn up because people are using the support solution to help themselves. So what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of a tour of the product. Hopefully you've grabbed that URL. I'm just going to minimize that for now. So even if you Google Support Plus Trial, you'll come up to the Support Plus Trial homepage, and on this homepage it gives you a sample selection of about 12 different support areas that you can use to get a general taste of what the Support Plus product can deliver for you. Now, rather than fishing around the trial, what I'd like to do is show you the full product. So the full product has hundreds and hundreds of different work-based actions to allow users to support themselves in a SharePoint environment. The sample that I'll be showing you today is our 2013 content. However, we have 2010 content, 2007 content for SharePoint, as well as other applications such as Microsoft Office 2007, 2010, 2013, CRM. We actually have quite a multitude of different support areas. As you can see from this menu system here, we have different versions of SharePoint, but we also have different versions of Office, Microsoft Dynamics, and we're also working on Nintex workflow content for those of you who use Nintex workflow for the SharePoint products. So let's show you the full content for 2013. So this was completed just at the end of January and is now available to either purchase from the App Store in the SharePoint App Store, or it can be also made available on premises if you want to actually buy and deploy the solution on site. So I'm just going to make this full screen, make it nice and big so that you can see it. So this is the full 2013 Support Plus content. The idea behind this solution is that it provides people with a quick way of accessing important tasks. For example, if I was interested in creating maybe a new task in a task list, I might be obliged to start fishing around different menu systems. So if I know a task is created in a list, I might jump into these large categories at the top here. The idea is that we provide people with the essential breakdown of the general areas that they want to know about. As I start to drill down into lists, lists are split into two various areas. You can work with items in lists, and you can work with the entire list itself. So we just broke it down simply into items and lists. If I drill down further and create new items, as you can see, we've documented each item that you can create in a list. If I jump to new tasks, you'll see that within a couple of clicks, a user has just helped themselves by finding that content. Effectively, you could also use the search category at the top and search for the keyword tasks. As you can see, tasks fall into a lot of SharePoint categories. However, objectively, again, we can quickly find the topic we're looking for, and we can also use other conditional options to build more advanced searches, such as using and/or statements or using quotation marks to group together keywords. I'm just going to go back to my new task option, and as you can see, because the word task appears quite a few times in this topic, it's been highlighted in the search results. Now I'm just going to zoom in on the screen here and just point out a few areas of the topic. The steps area is the first port of call for anyone who wants to receive quick support on a particular topic. This should be the first area they go to. In this section, we provide people with general steps in a very simple to follow format to help them achieve their goal. Not everyone learns at the same pace, and sometimes if you just provide people with a couple of steps, they'll say, well, I don't exactly know in context where this is actually relevant. So we realized that we should also provide them with more detailed explanation of the steps that they're handling. This will be their second point of call. Also, we also provide videos, which is our third point of call, for those who want to see a real live scenario. So let's have a look at all three of those sections and see how they will complement our learning experience. As you can see, the first section that we've got highlighted is steps. We provide users with a quick visual image to help them quickly refer to the content of their SharePoint environment in relation to the actual search subject itself. On the left-hand side here, you'll notice that all of these steps for creating a new task are documented here with the actual clicks highlighted in bold to make it clear to the user what they should be doing. We've also, where possible, included some of the icons that are visually displayed in SharePoint as a method of helping them visually relate to the content that they're seeing. Over on the right, we have tips. As SharePoint users, you might be aware that there's always more than one way of doing something in SharePoint. In fact, there are actually easier ways of doing things as well as some better practices. We also try to be very consistent, so all of the options we're doing, we use the ribbon for. But as you'll notice, you didn't just have to use the ribbon to create a new task. You've got the new task button here, which also allows you to create a task. So in the tips section, we also say, here's another method of creating a new task. Did you know that you've got spelling corrections up in the ribbon as well? So we just point the users out to lots of useful little facts that may help enhance their experience And we also can hyperlink them to relevant topics using the tips section. So if they want further reading, they can be provided with that. We also have a help on top button. What can often happen in SharePoint is you've got this help tool in front of you, but you also want to see the content in SharePoint as well, and you want them to work side by side. The help on top button just launches a small little window with these steps inside them to help users see both the steps on one screen and their SharePoint environment at the same time, and that window always stays on top. Up at the top, as well as these steps, we've also got the option for details and video. So let's just say that we've had a look through these general steps and we thought, okay, I need a little bit more help here. I can't work out where this option is here. So if we click on the details section, it provides a couple of paragraphs on this topic itself. So just explaining to the user why tasks are useful in SharePoint and what benefits it brings for them. We've also actually created a hyperlink here to another topic, which is connecting to Outlook. Again, very relevant to tasks because you can connect tasks lists to Outlook in SharePoint. As you can see, what we've done is we've paired up every single step for every single task to a screenshot. So that means that it doesn't matter what step you're following, we've got a visual representation presented for every single step along the way. We've never cut corners. Every single topic has every single step documented. We've also gone through great lengths to provide additional information. For example, in SharePoint 2013, a standard task list using the standard view has a timeline. So we thought, well, we're not just going to exclude that, it's a new feature, let's talk about it. So we comprehensively cover everything. So we've also included a section here on the timeline as well. And if you consider that this is just one topic out of hundreds in SharePoint, you can start to see the value of having this solution available for your end users. If I scroll back up to the top once more, we've got the video tab. The video tab provides us with a real-world example with complete video controls such as the ability to pause, unpause and set to full screen. So this is normally displayed in line with the content that you're working with. However, if you want to, you can take it up to full screen and just view the video as a whole, using Escape or the control system at the bottom to come back out of full screen mode. The video production has been taken to a new level. As you can see, we've got click pulses to indicate when left and right clicks are used, and we're also zooming in on the relevant areas of the screen so that users know what to focus on. We also use special highlighting techniques to ensure that the videos are interactive as possible, visually relevant as possible, just to keep the users enticed throughout the video. So as this video is playing, I'm just going to press Escape, go back to inline mode, and I'll just pause that there. So we've just displayed one help topic, but as you can see, the help topics are extensive across the top. So as I go through different categories, we can dredge down into lots of different help topics. So if I wanted to look at close a web part, for example, we've got the same level of quality that goes into every single subject. So that's just a quick overview of our help topics. As we're navigating around SharePoint, objectively, some people might be trying to use this as a learning tool as well, rather than a just-in-time support. So as we go into general areas, what we try to do is introduce concepts to users as well. For example, if we're talking about SharePoint lists, we can't just jump into working with lists in SharePoint without understanding what they are. So we try and find a suitable way of explaining to end users what lists are in SharePoint and try and keep it relevant. A lot of people have used spreadsheets over time in their day-to-day activities at work, and obviously lists have a lot of overlap with that. So we find relevant ways of explaining topics to end users that they consider useful. There are also more advanced sections as well. For example, notice that in SharePoint 2013, you've got the ability to drag and drop across different libraries now. I got quite excited about this. I realized that we could actually implement animated GIFs into our content as well. So as you'll notice that in this drag and drop section here, I've actually included some animated GIFs to help people understand how the drag and drop functionality works. A lot of people don't realize that this drag and drop functionality is actually, there's about 4 or 5 different ways you can use it. So I just go through each section and just explain how you can use the drag and dropping functionality in different areas of the SharePoint environment. Having the animated GIFs really helps emphasize that point. At the top of this page, you might notice a few additional controls as well as browsing the multitude of different help topics and searching for the content. You've also got the ability to navigate back and forward through topics that you've been reading, go to the home page, but also the email option as well. If you consider that your business would have a support team that actually supports these systems, normally IT, they might be overburdened if you deployed something like SharePoint to the business without fully informing or training everyone on what to do. Now, it might be an initial push for IT to try and support all of these calls, but eventually, and I've experienced this, they'll get bogged down and some of the more important calls will be prioritized so that, everyone is kept happy. So this can be a burden on IT. However, with this support tool, IT can use it as well. If someone calls your support center and says to them, I'm having trouble, for example, creating an alert for a file in a library, you can say to them, well, that's fine. So if we go to List and Library Apps, go to Libraries, Working with Files, and we want to do Share and Track, and you want to set an alert on a file. That's great. And then I hit this email button, which will open up my local email client and allow me to send an email to my colleague to say, okay, you're looking at setting up alerts. Why don't you try and follow this topic through to completion? If you still have problems, please let me know. And more than likely, they'll go away and they'll think this is great. However, now that they've got the link to this tool, they'll think, well, what else is in this tool? And they'll start to realize that rather than calling IT, they can help themselves by simply just working with this tool. So eventually, IT won't have this abundance of support calls for SharePoint. Users will slowly realize through the uptake of this support tool that actually they can rely on themselves. We also provide a feedback button which can be customized per business. If you wanted to receive feedback about this product, for our app version of this product, which users can subscribe to, the feedback comes to us. But for an on-premise deployment, if you chose to purchase this product and deploy it on-premises, we can customize that feedback button to go to a specific department, maybe someone who's invested in improving this product for you. Also, we've got the ability to print. If you wanted to print off this topic, then you could actually print it off in a printer-friendly version. A lot of businesses are trying to go paperless these days, so we can just as easily remove that button if required. However, a lot of businesses say it's worth having that button there just in case. So I think I've covered just about everything. For each one of our major topics here, we've also got conditional keywords that are relevant to the topic as well. Just down at the bottom here, just here, you may notice that there's an ABC button. This just provides you with a selection of keywords that are relevant to the current topic. For example, if I select W and go to Workflows, it will show me all of the workflow topics that are relevant to lists and library apps. So we've created a lot of different keywords that can be used for actually finding content more quickly if you're not too sure what keyword to search for in the search index at the top of the page. So that's an overview of the SharePoint 2013 content. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about during the session is the content editing tool. So we created this SharePoint content using a content author tool. This content author tool can be used to create support guides exactly like the one that you've just seen, but made relevant to your line of business systems. For example, you may use SharePoint 2013, but you also may use SAP, or you might use something like Retail Java, some custom application that there isn't a support guide for. The knowledgeable people within your business know how to use it, but how do they share that knowledge with others? You could use this content authoring tool to create your own support guides that complement this support system here. So you could have one support system for all of your applications. To show you an example of that, I'm just going to go out of our guide and go back into Internet Explorer, and I'm just going to go to one of my other support plus areas. So these are customized publications, just to give you an idea of how other businesses might use this. Now you can do things like visual customizations with our support tool, which I'll show you a little bit more in a moment. The content editing tool will allow you to actually apply a custom visualization. So if your SharePoint environment's branded, you could actually go into our content and update all of the pictures in the product to actually better represent your environment. Or you could use the tool to create your own support solutions. For example, here's a company that used the support tool to actually create business-driven processes. So rather than having task-orientated processes that we're used to, we can also create business-orientated processes as well. So if you're someone like a sales manager and you wanted to do something based on reporting, as you can see, everyone's day-to-day roles and activities can be incorporated into this product's design. If I go to processes, I can actually embed Visio diagrams and hyperlink different sections off to different support tools. So if I want to start scheduling a meeting, I'm provided with the information for that. Now this is another customer's method of using the support tool to design their own solution. If you consider that you can apply this sort of support tool design to your own business requirements, you've got a multitude of possibilities ahead of you. So let's look at the tool that designs this product. Again, as a demonstration, I'm going to relate the support tool to the editing tool. So the support tool's called, the editing tool is called Learning Guide Manager. There we are. So the Learning Guide Manager is the tool that we use to put together our support solution. We have individual projects, and I've been working on the SharePoint 2013 project. So I'm just loading up my project, and this is the exact project that you have just had a look at published in full format. Now the guide that you see in front of you, if I switch to the actual guide itself, you'll notice that there's a tabular based system across the top. When you drill into a tab, it's got a left-hand navigation that builds up and allows you to drill down. To create that is very simple in the support tool. All I simply do is build up a table of contents. These 6 tabs are the ones that appear across the top of the page, and you can add more tabs by clicking on this button here. If I wanted to create the left-hand navigation, I just simply drill down and then create new books to create the next menu system, and then I can create additional sub-books to build in this drop-down system. So this whole table of contents drives this support tool's navigation on the left and across the top. If you wanted to add more tabs in with more business relevant areas, you could purchase the authoring tool and then add this content in yourself, as simple as just adding another book there will add a new tab. As well as the table of contents that defines the structure of the support tool, there are also objects that carry the information that you're trying to support users with. For example, if I search for new task as an example, our support tool is made up of 3 specific areas that you saw previously. If I go to create a new task, as we saw earlier, the task consists of steps, details, and a video. And it's by no sheer coincidence that we've got 3 objects here. This is what we call a learning object, and the learning object will become instantly recognizable when I show you it. So all the learning object was a preview page for a picture, which you can choose to remove this picture and add new pictures if you wish, if you're customizing this for your own SharePoint branding. And you can choose to just quickly type and edit these steps as you wish as a normal word editor. There's also different styles that we can use to apply the tip icons and also apply the numbering down the left-hand side. All of this is included in the product. So as you can see, it's very easy to quickly write in new tasks that you want to add to this support solution. As well as that, we've also got the details section, where we've padded out a little bit more information about this particular topic. Again, referring back to our support tool which we use to create this content, it's nothing more than a simple word editing style process where we type in and format the various content, providing bullet points and screenshots where necessary. The video is slightly more unusual. If we're to include a video in our content, what we must do is we must publish the video in a format that's friendly to web browsers. So we use MP4 format, which works on the majority of tablet devices, computers, browsers, etc. We create these videos by using a screen recording application called Camtasia 8. With Camtasia 8, we can also do transitions such as the flip you just saw, zooms, as we're doing at present, and the little red click pulses. So this means that to create videos for your product, if you were to actually buy the authoring tool, you might also need a video recording application to actually take screenshots or capture the screen that you're currently viewing and then transfer that into a video format. We bundle that package into what we call an external content type, which is simply a placeholder for a video. If your videos are on YouTube, for example, you can always refer to a URL if you want to. Or if they're on a file share and you don't want to incorporate them into this package, you can just put in an external reference if you want. So you've got various options to allow you to incorporate different media into this external type. Once this is all done, we simply drag the learning object tied in with the deeper reference and external content straight into our table of contents, meaning that if we navigate into lists, working with items, new items, there's that new task learning object just dragged and organized in this content here. When it comes to searching for this content, any keywords that appear in the learning object deeper reference will also come back in the search. But also you can apply your own index to add additional keywords and synonyms to specific topics as well to really help people find the content that's relevant to them. Now, Combined Knowledge spent about 4 months putting together the SharePoint 2013 content, and we had quite a big team working on that. So we're not saying that it's quick and easy to create a support solution. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It takes a lot of time. You might have found that in your business, if you were to try and create a knowledge base, it might take a long time to put that content together. So we quickly identified that it would be more beneficial to businesses if we created a support package for them that if they wanted to, they could purchase the content authoring tool, which you can see at the moment, and allow them to use the authoring tool to either change our content or add their own content if that's required as well. So that's the content authoring tool. Okay, so I think we covered just about everything that I wanted to talk about during the session. So we know that Support Plus provides a SharePoint orientated solution for SharePoint users within a business, but we also at Combined Knowledge provide other areas of support for businesses. For example, the Microsoft Office suites. We also provide solutions for Office 365, Office web apps, and also IE browsers, Windows operating systems, and also other more specialist areas such as Visio, Project and OneNote, Link, and we also provide a new solution called Training Plus, which is complementary and will be coming to Support Plus very soon. So Support Plus has been going for quite a long time. As you can see, we've been sort of enhancing it since 2007. But just to let you in on a little secret, there's more to come with this product. And I certainly want to show you a few little tidbits of information, one of which I can certainly show to you and one of which I've been told to keep quiet for now. So there's something very cool coming to Support Plus. Unfortunately, I can't really talk too much about it just yet. So going back to our Support Plus trial, we've also got what we call computer-based training. Now, computer-based training is currently in development for Support Plus and will be available, I think, in a couple of months, which basically provides users with a more formal-based training and questioning and answering system directly from their desk. So this computer-based training can be provided with Support Plus as a package, or it can also be purchased separately and loaded into your own learning management system or LMS system that you have on site. The idea behind this topic is that the computer-based training is more formal and provides the user with an intuitive, I'll just turn my volume down for a second, an intuitive and instructor-driven experience to help them learn the topics that's relevant. In the trial, we've incorporated a quick sample of what CBTs are going to be like for a business. So computer-based training is an additional package that's going to come with CBTs eventually, and what will eventually happen is that every single topic in the Support Plus tool will be paired up with a computer-based training module to give you a verbal overview of what the topic entails, to provide you with instructor-narrated and driven demonstrations, and also providing you with a quiz right at the end of the session to confirm that you've understood the methods. Now, there's ways that we can use an LMS system to enhance that and take those scores and maybe provide some metrics around that. So we're looking at ways of enhancing CBTs as well. So I'm just going to increase the volume for just a moment, just to give you a little bit of a sample. But if you want to experience this for yourself, remember the link to the Support Plus trial. That's available for you to try as well. So you can actually try this CBT content out yourself. So I'm just going to increase the volume for just a moment.
For example, a microblog on a team site homepage can be used for a team.
So you can skip through each section.
In this section, we will first...
There's also a glossary of terms as well, so that if a terminology appears that you're not too familiar with, you can also use the glossary to just compare terms and work out what is the context of the term that's being used.
Such as hashtags, @mentions, hyperlinks, and photos. On the homepage of our team site...
As you can see, we're using a similar demonstration to help the users actually see an instructor-driven process. Later on in the support tool, we're actually going to incorporate follow-up exam so that users can actually go through in a SharePoint environment simulator, going through creating and managing content within a SharePoint environment. So we're currently working on that solution. So that will be coming in hopefully within the year, and that'll be a very exciting thing to see as well. I think I've probably given you too much information there, but there are some really cool things coming to the Support Plus tool, so it's worth keeping an eye on the Combined Knowledge news feeds just to see what features are coming in for the product.
Adding the character to your post. Next, type in a colleague's name.
So I'm just going to close that down for now. So in the trial, you can gain experience using the Support Plus tool, but just note that there's this CBT tab at the top that allows you to access the computer-based training. And there's only one topic. There's just microblogging available at the moment to show you how to use news feeds. But of course, that will become a full solution. And every single topic that you see there will have a complementary computer-based training module as well to take that experience and turn it into a full training session. Okay, so CBTs is coming to Support Plus soon. There's also another feature that's coming soon that was originally going to be in the trial, but we decided to hide it for now whilst we just polish it up and get it perfect. It's very exciting. I think it's incredible what the team has done to develop this additional solution. I really hope that we can start to sort of preview that content soon, but it's just been sort of hidden from the limelight for the moment until it's ready, and then we can actually release it. It will be apparent in the trial, and it will be hopefully available as standard with the product as well. Okay, so I am going to just leave it there. So we've just spent about half an hour discussing the Support Plus solution, what its purpose is in a large business or a small business, and also what you can do to customize the tool optionally if you want to. For information about sales of the Support Plus tool, so what the costs are to a business, how much the authoring tool costs, please contact sales@combined-knowledge.com. If you want to play around with the trial, the URL's in the chat window, or you can view the, make a note of the URL that's currently up on the screen at the moment. If you want to ask any questions whilst I'm still on the line, just pop a quick message in the chat window and I'll answer any questions that you have live. And once we've wrapped up, feel free to head out of the session. So for those of you who don't have any questions, thank you very much for joining the webinar. I really appreciate you attending. For those of you who have questions, just pop them into the chat window and I'll answer them as they come in. So again, thank you very much. I'll just await any questions coming in.